Hi, everyone. This is Miranda with the Valuable Voices podcast. I'm so excited for you guys to hear my friend Melissa. Thanks for being on here, girl.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so her and I met through this just amazing company and mission and just a group of moms being real and authentic. I just remember hearing bits and pieces of your story and I was just drawn to you. So I'm just excited to share that with others.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. So a little bit of my story started when my husband and I lived in Florida. We owned a gym in the Keys, and we didn't have any kids yet. We moved to the Keys, opened a gym, opened a CrossFit gym, and we basically decided that we wanted to bring fitness to that community because it was not there yet. And at least CrossFit wasn't. And I've had a passion for health and fitness for, gosh, over 10 years now. It's going to be like 12 years now. And just basically to tell people about the importance of being healthy and fit, and not just for weight loss, but for longevity and overall health, and quality of life. And so we decided we wanted to take that to that community. We did not have any kids yet. We opened a gym, and shortly after, or I think we opened it when I was already pregnant with my first son.
Wow.
And we opened the gym. It was amazing. We started having people. We started with 0 members. We grew to like 120 members. And that's like a transient community for the most part. So, and it was our first baby. We really just loved pouring into people. And we had so many people come through the doors that didn't think that they could do what we were teaching, or didn't think they could even do fitness, or that they could change their lifestyle of eating. And, just guiding them along through that journey was one of my favorite things that I've ever done. And so I still have a passion for that. And we ended up moving from the Keys. My husband got a job offer in North Carolina, and it was something we couldn't pass up, and we really felt like God was calling us here. The story would also prove that and how we ended up here. Only God. And so we sold our gym. We had at that time a 2-year-old and a 1-year-old, and we moved to North Carolina. Really didn't know anybody, didn't have any friends. We had some family that lived here, but we were not and are still not very close to them. So it was like having nobody.
Wow.
And that was in and of itself a life change and transition and season that I look back now on, and I learned so much from it. I wish I had known more when I was going through it, of course, right? Hindsight. But yeah, and then we now have been in North Carolina for almost 5 years. We have a 7-year-old, 5-year-old, and 3-year-old boys.
Yeah.
When we moved here, I basically just I put everything aside. It was just a matter of adjusting. It was really survival mode for me because I was lonely. My husband was really working hard on his new job and was out of the house a lot or working a lot. And I didn't know anybody. I had these 2 little humans that were all consuming and so close in age. It was a little bit crazy for me. And just being in a place where you don't know where your gas station is, where your grocery store is, like all those little things that you take for granted.
Yeah.
Meeting new people, finding your new church, finding your new gym, finding everything.
Mm-hmm.
And in finding a lot of things, I lost myself essentially. I really did. I just kind of stopped. I became full-time stay-at-home mom. So when we were in the Keys, I still in the gym and I had that.
Yeah.
But it was like 100% about my children, about figuring out this new world in a new place. I had some anger in me and some resentment or frustration for moving.
Mm.
Because it was like, oh my gosh, now I'm here and I can't believe I did this and I don't know anyone. And, I drive around in the car for 2 hours so my kids could nap. And I was like, where am I? Everything's so new and so foreign. With that came a lot of, it was like a furnace. I think of it where I was growing and learning, but I didn't realize it in the moment.
Yeah.
Um, and now that I'm on the other side of that, I look back like, wow, those, it's funny when this crazy pandemic season hit, I realized it sent a lot of people into shock, and it's been really hard for a lot of people. And it's been hard for us to some degree also. But I almost feel like I had already gone through that to some degree a few years before, because all of the same things that people were experiencing, I experienced very tangibly. And so that's what it felt like. It felt like, my identity was completely rocked, like, oh, your identity was in basically your gym and your
Right.
people. That was my purpose. And a lot of times as mothers, we think that our purpose is in our children, and it can be, and it is certainly a part of our calling, but we have to be able to have a purpose outside of motherhood. Because if our only identity is in our children that are ever growing and ever changing and are not even fully ours, they belong to God, they're his. So when we do that, then we come to a point where we're like, oh wait, but my kids are going to have their own life one day.
Right.
So what's my purpose outside of my children? What's my identity outside of my children? And when we moved here, and I no longer had the gym, I had to find that really quick.
Yeah.
Because my identity was completely was rocked and shaken. And I realized, one, that I had to put it even more so in Jesus. And it made me realize just how much I didn't have it in him enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been sold out and surrendered since I became a believer in 2008, which that's another story, but I was way on the other side of being a believer. I was not a believer. And so I had to, realize, okay, I need to find purpose outside of just my children, give them all of me when I'm with them, but also have something else, other things, not just one thing, but other things that I pour myself into.
Yep.
And so that has been quite the journey.
I love that. And I can totally relate. I'm sure most women listening to this can completely relate. And when my kids were babies, I always wanted to be a mom. I just poured into them, and I almost put myself on the back burner. I put a lot of relationships on the back burner. I just like survival mode. Like you said, I just felt like I just had to do what I had to do. So I'm sure you were taking care of yourself and doing those things, right? I don't think, knowing you probably didn't completely let yourself go. I know how you love to work out and all those things, but what what was the final straw, or what did you decide to do to be like, I have got to change something right now?
So I did, thank God, I did keep exercising and keep my eating habits and a lot of that. I did keep that because I think it was so ingrained in me, and I realized how much I need it for my mental health too. That fortunately that didn't stop. However, I did stop like self-care in the form of loving myself, and taking time for myself to just be still. For 4 years, I didn't open a book. I didn't open my laptop. I did nothing for myself. Now, I was learning and reading a lot by way of like articles and podcasts and things I could listen to like on the go, but everything was on the go, and it was like, and where it was like, okay, I mean, I was putting coconut oil on my face as moisturizer for I don't know how many years, because I just didn't even have the time or the capacity to think of buying products, using them like a ritual or any sort of method.
Yeah.
And I didn't even realize the importance of that in like loving myself.
Yeah.
And, I felt like God spoke to me one day. He said, like, you need to love yourself before you could love anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of the journey that I set out on. I listened to Jamie Cross speak one day in a conference, and that was kind of what started my journey of like, oh, wait a second, there's more for me. There's way more inside of me than I am even scratching the surface of.
Yep.
And it was essentially I listened to her speak. I listened to her share her story. And she was basically, you know, speaking about dormant dreams and not being activated fully as a woman and having more inside of us and being capable of more, that we can be mothers and wives and dreamers and doers and entrepreneurs, and we can create things and we can impact the world around us outside of our homes while still being an impact in our home.
Yeah.
And I was just like listening to all this. I'm like, me, that's me.
Yes.
And then it started literally haunting me, like, okay, what if I don't do anything else until my kids go to high school?
Right.
What if the next 15 years I do nothing but what I'm doing right now? And the thought of that person just terrified me.
Yeah.
Like, to have no other purpose, and then the day that they leave be like, hey, so now what? And, you know, just be lost and not even realize like what to do. And I know women like that in my life.
Yeah.
Where now their kids are, you know, going away to college, and they're now in their 50s seeking purpose. And I'm like, oh no, I can't wait that long. There's too much that I could share now.
Yeah.
So anyways, I listened to her speak, I listened to her podcast, and I just started getting stirred and really that fire in my belly to not only become activated and awaken myself, but to also pull out other women that are in the same place I was, and, you know, draw out of them the things that were coming out of me, and just remind them again of their worth and their value and their ability and their purpose. And so yeah, that's kind of the journey that I've been on, you know, since, let's see, it was September of 2019.
Okay.
And so now I am very much a part of Jamie Cross's movement and world, and just being a part of the health and wellness world, not only to help people become activated in their health and in their bodies and in their minds, but also in the business world and income world as well. So
yes.
yeah.
I love that. I think like I've hearing other people or hearing somebody like Jamie Cross, it almost gave me permission to take care of myself and to go after what I want. And obviously your kids are watching. So the more joy you have, the more excitement you have about something, the purpose, your kids see that and you're able to almost just live that out so that they are like, okay, you know, which mom do you want? The one that is like, they're present with you, but then has a side business and loving herself and dreaming and just going after it, or the mom that's like sick and tired and just like, oh, drained. That's how I was. I was like, so yeah, I just love that. And again, your story is most likely inspiring somebody today. I just love your story and what you have. So tell us about your Facebook group. People can follow you on Facebook.
Yeah. So I started
Authentic.
Yeah, it's called Purely Authentic, and I'm still in the process of really developing that. God has given me some ideas and some things that He wants me to do that are completely separate from even my business currently.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, I'm all for it. And so, but yeah, like I said, it's just family, fitness, health, inspiration, and community that we can provide. That's what the purpose of that Facebook group is going to be.
Yeah, I love that. So we'll drop that here. Follow her. Melissa, you've just been such a light in my life. I know we got to travel to Colorado, 6 months ago or so, and it was just such a blessing. I just know your heart. I know you've been through a lot, and I just love, again, your stories, and you just take it and you like run with it. You're like, no, I don't like this. I got to change something, right? And I think that's just the story is like, you're in charge of your life, not anybody else. You get to wake up every day and do what you want. So don't settle for less. If you feel something, I love how you said that like fire in your belly. If you feel excitement or joy towards something, go after it. You know, don't just sit there and wait for something to come to you or wait till your kids go to college, because yeah, too many people are probably doing that. And then their kids leave and they're like, who am I? Now what?
Yeah. Right.
So.
Right. And if you're married, date your husband every week, spend time with him often, have conversations with him often, because that's another thing, is we can lose our marriage in the midst of it all. I mean, we saw ours on that journey, on that path, early on, with a lot of littles running around. It's like, we can't even have a conversation, and we let that be the case for a while. So I don't know, I just feel led to say, like,
Yes.
Hold on tight to your marriage. And if you don't have a marriage, then take that time and love God and make him your husband, and love on yourself. Oh
Yeah.
my God, love on yourself so much. Read all the books. See, now I'm catching up
I love it.
on my book reading and on my time to myself. And yeah, it's super important.
Yeah. Definitely. Be intentional. Again, be intentional. God gave you
Yeah.
a man. I mean, yes, absolutely. Honestly, just don't let it go away, because something like that happened to me. And again, I think, what could I have done differently? But again, God has a plan and I trust it. And now I'm at a place where I'm like figuring out who I am, right? Who I am and what's next. And I'm just excited, So yeah, I love that message. That's so good, Melissa. And again, I love just I think of I probably shouldn't even go here, but your Pounce story and like what you shared. I will never forget that. And that's truly what like just attracted me to you. Just you being authentic to who you are, and just showing up. And you have just been, again, blessing so many, inspiring so many, helping so many people. And it's just been fun to watch. So I'm grateful for you and glad to be connected to you.
Thank you, my friend. I so appreciate your heart and you, and just I love your friendship and getting to know you. And thank you for having me here. It's been so great to talk
Yes.
to your people.
Thank you so much. Well, bless you all. If you know anybody that has a story, again, I believe everybody out there has a story, and people are inspired by you sharing it. So that's really my mission, is just to get people out there to share their story and just to connect with others and bring the amazing women and men in my life just to share with you. So bless you all. Have a great day.